Hello, friends. Long time no see. Today, we're going to be talking about the albums I listened to last month. I was supposed to upload this on the first of this month, but uh, pretty pretty tiring work schedule on top of just side things that I needed to do, and also like being social with people, which kind of gets my mental health in the neutral position, which is helpful. Um, and I don't know, I just doing this kind of left me for a little bit. Um, but now I'm back, and I'm here to talk about what I listened to last month. Last month was the theme of what music I listened to was the most popular music of all time based on Rate Your Music's picks. So not really the most popular albums of all time because like if you go to, Spotify or like Apple Music or YouTube Music or, anything like that, um, the most streamed songs on those are not these. They're definitely not these. Um, this would apply more to that would apply more to like Billie Eilish, Ed Sheeran, um, Taylor Swift, TikTok artist I don't know the name of. There's a lot of music nowadays that have this like 4 or 5 billion streams. That's a bit too high. 3 billion streams. How about that? And I've never heard the song before. I don't even know how that's possible. And then people just move on to another one. That one gets a billion listens. I don't understand how that works. Um, so I'm just going to stick with what Rate Your Music considers it because it makes it very easy to sort out. Um, Unlike this month's theme, which is my parents' CD collection, because they have a huge CD collection full of David Bowie, Orbital, Taylor Swift, Aphex Twin, Daft Punk, a lot of stuff I've more or less already heard, but a lot of normie type music that I just haven't heard before. But for now, we're just going to talk about the most popular albums. I don't know how long I'm going to do this for. I don't know how much detail I should really get into some of these. Um, but I will say I'll probably stop once I get to a point where it's the ones I haven't heard yet. So yeah, which without further ado, also I'm gonna talk about one more thing at the end of the video based on the title of this one. I imagine, unless I'm talking about it tomorrow, who knows? So the first one, which is Rate Your Music's possibly longest, highest rated song. It's been beaten out by a song that's coming up later. OK Computer by Radiohead. Now I can talk about Radiohead in its own separate video, but I'm just gonna go over their whole discography really quick right now. Actually, I might forget one or two albums because some of them are not on the tip of my tongue. So I'll just mention OK Computer actually, like normal. OK Computer is a very consistent album, I guess I'll call it. The It's not one I really connect with as much as many other people do. I'm trying to phrase my words as specifically as possible, not to make anyone angry, but it's not my favorite Radiohead album. Um, it's not even like my second favorite, not even my third favorite. It's one that is effective at what it's trying to do. I can't think of any like negative thing about it, like not really. Um, it just doesn't really apply to me too much. There's some moments that really stick out, for sure. Every song on it is a classic, and in that case, my first listen of it, from front to back, was pretty exciting because I've heard these when I was like really, really young, because I was born just a few years after this came out, and it was cool hearing those songs like "Paranoid Android" being one of them, um, and it's hard for me to remember every song off of it, but the moment I start hearing it, it's like, oh yes, this one. Obviously, this one. It's a classic, and that's what I would call it. Is a very classic album. I gave it a 7, and it's probably gonna stay a 7 for quite a long time. Out of 10, by the way, because it just doesn't really get me in the feels, or um, it's not the kind of thing I put on for fun, really. Um, that being said, Kid A by Radiohead is one of my favorites. It ties for number one with another one that I'll get into later. But Kid A has the sauce, in my opinion. It's got a really unique sound to it that I don't hear very many musicians really attempt as much as this one does. It's very dark. Like it fits the album cover so well. It feels like a very imperfect world that's dark, and that's what the album cover really shows. It's like a really messed up, like computer generated thing that who knows what it's resembling, but it's something that is really unique. Um, it's got bits of ambience in there. It's got some of that like kind of cheesy Radiohead lyrical flair that I actually do like. It's not a bad thing. I'm not saying cheesy is a negative. I say it as a positive. Um, Tom York sounds great on it as always. And it's just a lot of the songs are like, oh yes, it's this one. Yeah. And I really like that about it. So I'd put this above OK Computer. I'll do a little ranking of Radiohead albums because so many of these albums are Radiohead ones, as you can see. After that is To Pimp a Butterfly, which is peak. This is an album. Oh yeah, what would I give Kid A out of 10? I'd give Kid A a 9, but now To Pimp a Butterfly, which I would give a 10. I'm just gonna get that out of the way. Um, what a surprise, right? But To Pimp a Butterfly has beaten out OK Computer after 10 years of OK Computer being number one, which is crazy on Rate Your Music. Insane. And I think honestly, I'm glad it's number one. A lot more than OK Computer is. I um I just I'm really happy that like hip hop has become so like big with everyone. It's not like this, oh, I don't like those sounds, that music, because I used to be one of those people, but To Pimp a Butterfly really put into perspective like how much this genre and also like these themes matter to black people. And I don't know, it helped me really understand. Oh my fucking god damn it. My camera fucked up. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. Hello. Um, Continuing on off what I was saying, my first listen of this album was very interesting because it was after To Pimp a Butterfly became number one on Rate Your Music, and I was like, okay. The first time I heard about this album was in Jar Media. I remember Jamie Beltman um, saying, just like they were talking about Kendrick Lamar's music, and I was like, oh, that's the guy on the cover of Damn. Which all I know about that album is the album cover is bad. I still agree with that sentiment, by the way. It's such a bad album cover. Um, I'll talk about it later, though, I imagine. And but then Jimmy Beltman randomly cuts in and then says, "Ah, To Pimp a Butterfly is so good." And back then, what I would do whenever I hear someone mention an album and put a lot of emphasis on it, I would go, okay, I'll look it up and add it to my library of likes. And it stayed there for a long time until it became number one on Rate Your Music. I was like, oh, shit. Oh my God. Like, oh my God. Um, this, like, actually really matters. And it's more than what I would imagine it being because I was just so used to, like, the SoundCloud rap I like concept like, and I was not a fan of that sound. Um, and then I finally give it a try after all this time, and I heard the first song. I was like, okay, yeah, all right. being Wesley's theory, and then it went into the interlude, and it's like, oh my god, like this is like production. Like I haven't heard production on a rap album like this before. And then it goes into King Kunta, and I was like really like sort of understanding the the value of this genre a lot, like the hip hop as a genre. And I was grooving along with it lyrically. I didn't understand exactly what was going on, but um, yeah, I was like, oh yeah, this is fun. And then I'm pretty sure up until not I, you, the song You, when I was hearing that, what I thought was a feature. No, it's just Kendrick Lamar acting drunk. I was like, oh my god, these bars are insane. What the whoa, like what is happening on this project? What is happening here? And I impulsively gave it a like. I remember exactly that moment where I was like, whoa, like what? Like the sounds of the beer being drunk and like the sound design of that song is really great. And then eventually it goes into one of my favorite tracks by Kendrick Lamar in general, being "How Much a Dollar Cost," and that like piano in the beat with the saxophone. I just had it was like a it was a connection to that song that like I forgot where I was. You know, like there was something about it where I started like sort of a spiritual experience in a weird way. And I never thought I would have something like that on a hip hop album back then. And later there was like all the other moments. He has an interview with some guy at the end. What's going on there? Now I know what's going on. He's talking to Tupac. And that's what the whole album's about now. But like every single song on this album, I just sort of got after a re-listen or two. And then when I eventually got on album, it brought me to like not a full-on sob, but like I teared up listening to it, you know. And there's something about it like I just really connect with it, and I really respect it, and it's responsible for me getting into not just hip hop but many other genres. And I one of my favorite albums ever. Perfect 10. If you haven't heard it, the fuck is wrong with you? You gotta listen to one of the best albums ever goddamn made, alright? Moving on from there, Dark Side of the Moon. It's I. Okay, there's more to it than that. Dark Side of the Moon is a classic. Like one of the most popular albums ever made. Every song on it is, you know, a big deal in many different ways. And I like how varied it is. There's a lot of really unique stuff going on. But yeah, that's about it. It's not the kind of thing I think it's a bit too inconsistent for me to like put the whole thing on in a row, like while I'm driving or something. I'd rather put on many other things as opposed to this. That's kind of a lot of these, by the way. My best listening experience I have with a lot of albums is when I'm either drawing or driving. And Dark Side of the Moon, I don't think I'd really put on either situation. Um, and I respect it. There's a lot of cool moments on it. You know, songs like Time and Money are classics. I love that both of them are super popular. Us and Them is a great song. What's that one song? Hold on. What's it called? Sorry to like go on a tangent. I guess that's what this whole channel is though. Um, The Great Gig in the Sky is like one of my favorite Pink Floyd songs. I know that's not a unique opinion, but holy crap. Like that song is oh my god. Um it's not really like a standout song in this album really. Like it's not the kind of song you'd think of when you think of Pink Floyd, but it's a good damn good song. Although one thing I still have to try is listening to it in sync with The Wizard of Oz. I have still not done that. Maybe I'll like it a lot more after I do that. Who knows? Um, but yeah, up next, Radiohead again. In Rainbows. Um, in Rainbows is very consistent, like just like OK Computer, very consistent album, and is probably you know, I'd put it above OK Computer, but it's not my favorite. I I don't know if I'd put it in my top three. Maybe my top three. I'm not really sure. But every song on this album is fucking good. Is like um oh yeah, I didn't give a rating for Dark Side of the Moon. It's a 7, I'd say. In Rainbows is an album that, like, yes, I can put on while driving. In fact, I would have a really good time putting it on while driving. Like, it's perfect for like early mornings, and that's the context of when I listened to it. It was a really cool moment when I was going to work, back when I worked at a warehouse that was like 40 minutes away from where I live. So it was always kind of a journey. Um, Going down a highway, when it's like really dark blue outside, and hearing Nude for the first time was like ethereal. That was like an insane moment. And it felt like everything synchronized really well. It felt so appropriate. I really like that song. Although I've heard Nude like a billion times now, so it's kind of lost its damper. Honestly, the one song that I keep coming back to is All I Need right now. All I Need is a song that, like, I love the way it sounds so much. That boom boom. There's something about that that's just so cool. I really love it. Um, I also really like, House of Cards, um, which I think is kind of underrated as a song. A lot of people, actually, by a lot of people, I mean two people, two whole people, a random YouTube commenter and my boyfriend, who aren't as big a fan of House of Cards. But I like that one. I like the drone of it and like the emptiness it kind of brings out. It's kind of similar to Kid A, but also songs like the first song, 15 Step, is just a banger. Body Snatchers has that really cool riff. I think it's a riff. I'm not really sure what it is, but like going throughout, it like brings a lot of character to this album. Every song has something really cool and special going on in it. Um, but yeah, it's like it's not something I can talk about for hours because everyone knows what In Rainbows is. Obviously, that doesn't affect my score, although it might. Who knows? I'm kind of a hipster. Um, but yeah, like I don't put it on very much. I don't think I would own it on vinyl. So my subconscious gives it an 8, and that's usually what I go for. My subconscious kind of brings the rating out. So 8 out of 10. All right, next up, this one's a doozy. My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. Um, so for me, a lot of music, I don't really let the person that made it really mess with the score. Sometimes it can, especially if it's super personal to them, which is why I fucking hate Kanye West's new music because it's all about him and what he's doing. It's fucking egregious. It's awful. It's every bad word in the in the book. It's like 1 out of 10. I don't even want to listen to them because I feel like I'm doing a disservice to the world for listening to his new music. But Dark Twisted Fantasy is unique and iconic, and that's about it. It's a really interesting album for me to talk about. Um, and this is like the most lame rating I can give something, but I give it a 5 out of 10. Um, this is an album, and I'm not saying that just because a certain melon said so. I genuinely do think half of the songs on this album are just not that good. I am not going groupthink on this one. I genuinely think half of the songs on this I would skip. Some songs I liked a lot the first time, such as you know, let's see. Oh, it actually frames pretty well. Oh, nice. Um, Stuff like Blame Game, I used to really be a fan of Blame Game. Nowadays, I don't, I hate that fucking outro so much. Like a lot. I really hate it. Um, but there's also some good moments, like Nicki Minaj's appearance on the song Monster is fucking insane. She's crazy on that track. It's like so good. Um, but that's about it on that song. Like that's the only reason I'd ever listen to that song is just because of her performance on it. But also songs like Runaway are a classic. That beat is iconic. Most like one of the most iconic rap beats ever. There's a reason why it's memed so much because it's fucking classic, as well as Dark Fantasy. Everyone references the "Can we get much higher" all the time because it's fucking iconic. There's a lot of really unique choices in this album, but it's not the kind of thing I'd ever really put on because there's just too many like dull moments in it, or moments that just I don't know why they're there. Like, why is it like this? All of the Lights is crazy. That's a cool song. The fact that there's so many performances on it is pretty neat. Um, Again, it's a lot of stuff where I can say, "Oh, that was cool," but when I listen to it, do I get the urge to listen to it? Not really. It's one of those things that again, I don't really connect to. Um, so yeah, it's a 5 out of 10. I think half of the songs on this aren't very good, and also the song I can't remember which one it is. It's Power with the 21st century schizoid man. Whenever I hear that sample, I just go, "Oh, I wish I was listening to King Crimson right now." And I think that's not the kind of thing you'd want with an album when you use a sample. You want to listen to it to either thing separately when you like feel the urge to, not you don't want to get reminded of another thing you'd rather listen to. But yeah, next up is Loveless by My Bloody Valentine. Now, this is an album I haven't listened to very much, but I remember putting it in my rotation to kind of get it more and more after each listen. It's definitely one of those things that grows on you. Since like the first time I listened to it, I thought every song kind of sounded the same. But the more I listen to it, the more I'm like, okay, yeah, there's like some really cool moments on this, and now I would give it a pretty good rating, but it's hard for me to elaborate much further because I haven't heard much of My Bloody Valentine's other music. But it's a classic. I'd call it a classic. That I think um, most indie heads should listen to. Um, I'm not going to give it a rating. I do have a rating for it on Rate Your Music, but that's mostly just because um, you know, you can't log albums on Rate Your Music unless you review it or rate it. And I just don't think I'm very cut out for making full on reviews of things. So I'm just gonna leave it at 8 out of 10. Mostly just because, well, I liked it, and that's the most I can remember from it. I have to listen to it more to really know what my rating will be. Moving on, Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd. I definitely like this album a lot more than oh Jesus Christ, I'm having a moment already. Um Dark Side of the Moon. Um the sound in it is like super synthy, and there's a like the first song, Welcome to the Machine, is fantastic. Like that's a song I really really like. That being said, it's hard for me to remember the rest because I've only listened to it about like 3 or 4 times. But I do have like spiritual moments with this album, especially with "Welcome to the Machine." That's like a perfect song to me. And one of the best Pink Floyd album covers for sure. There's a reason why it's referenced so much. It's fantastic. Um, and I don't know. There's something about it I do really enjoy, and I'd have to listen to it more to truly know. But for now, it's an 8 out of 10. It's one I do really like. Excuse me. And you should check it out. After that is Good Kid, Mad City by Kendrick Lamar. Um, this is, I think, his third album, but it's probably his first album that truly mattered to a lot of people. This album is super 2012. When I first listened to it, I was like, God damn, I remember these songs in Vine compilations, and yeah, that's what it reminded me a lot. But the more I listened to it, the more I understand it. Similarly with To Pimp a Butterfly, um, it makes me think about this topic, specifically with like how Compton is and how he's I'm not gonna pretend like I truly know because of this music. I've never lived in those situations. Ultimately, I technically don't get it, really. I don't get it. But I would say I get it more because of this album and other projects in the same vein. Um, but yeah, hearing these very personal stories and ideas from Kendrick Lamar is really fun and interesting, and I'm like super. I get super invested hearing certain parts. The way it starts with that like prayer is really effective, and the way it ends is really effective. There's a lot of really good moments, such as such as such as the song "Real," which is one I keep coming back to lately. Um, there's a lot of those kind of tracks going on where it's hard. Geez, it's hard for me to talk on the spot about this album because there's a lot of things to talk about. Um, the sound is really unique throughout it because there's moments that are like, um, you know, really, really, like I guess higher quality, I guess. But there's also moments that feel sound cloudy, and I think all of that works in tandem really effectively. Like there's those songs that are um, like oh, I have the biggest dick, yeah, like those kind of songs along with, talking about, like being peer pressured by your friends and doing things you regret and eventually going into a prayer. I think that all comes together super well um, to make something really special. I really like this album. 9 out of 10. It's one I can listen to many times. I need to own it on vinyl already because I really like it. Up next is The Bends by Radiohead. This is one I've listened to like 3 times. But this was one I did not understand the hype for the first time I listened to it. I thought barely any of the songs were like memorable. Uh, geez, 1 second. A lot of the ideas in it I thought were done better in other albums. Um, and I just didn't really care for it. But looking at the rest of Radiohead's music and a lot of music from the around the same time period, um, I like. It's weird to call 1995 a time period, but it was. Um, I kind of get it more and more each time. There's a certain atmosphere this album has that I actually really like. The last time I listened to it, from what I recall, I actually liked it a lot more than my first couple times. And it's like, oh, like I remember hearing there's this album got by I don't remember the name, but it's like a rap duo that does like pop stuff. It's like some in a somewhat like sort of like theater core-ish way. I just know one of them was named John Lissack, and they sample a song from the Bends, and hearing the sample of it, I kind of go, huh, yeah, this that song is a banger. Like it's one of those things where if I hear it randomly, I'm like, oh yeah, that is a good song actually. Maybe I should check it out again. And it was very fun. That time I checked it out again, like I was like, oh yeah, it's cool. So yeah, it's a good listen. And album cover is memed on a lot. I actually really like the album cover. um, it's very uncanny valley. Um, and people make the joke, oh, he looks like he's coming. But all I can think is, I think that's kind of the uncomfortable element of it. I think that's what makes it kind of work. Um, you know, and there's a lot of like subconscious thoughts you get from the idea of a using a dummy that's meant for like health exercises as the focus. I think there's a lot to be said about that. Up next, In the Court of the Crimson King. um now this album is kind of weird because like I don't know why they made a whole album about a character from JoJo. I don't really understand why they did that. Okay, I have not watched JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I just know that whenever I bring up this fucking album, people are like, "Oh my god, JoJo." Um, but yeah, this album is one I see everywhere. I see this fucking album cover everywhere, all the time, constantly. And so I get the impression, oh, it must be like one of the best albums ever made, you know. And surprise, surprise, it isn't. But I like it a lot, that being said. Again, it's one that's like, it takes me a while to really get. Um, but there's a lot of moments that are like really pretty and effective, and the sound that they have, that King Crimson has, is like one that I think is still really unique. I even after hearing so much stuff now, I still think they stick out really effectively. And from 1969, okay, that's insane. That is utterly crazy and insane. The amount of production it has, it's like entrancing. It's a really good album. And I think everyone, honestly, everyone should hear In the Court of the Crimson King. Especially since like it came out around like the Vietnam War, and how 21st Century Schizoid Man is about that. That's pretty crazy to hear that in this genre. I don't know how much music at the time was anti-war. I imagine there was still a huge culture for it, but it's cool hearing that from so long ago when it was so fresh that time. Still prevalent today, of course, but still. Um, it's a really good time, like a period piece. And the atmosphere of the song, the title track, is really cool and really effective. I just think of this like dark and red lighting ass like court, and just everything is wrong. And it's the album cover. I don't fully get. Um, I guess it could have something to do with 21st Century Schizoid Man. That might be the character of that song. But yeah, like it's still a pretty good album. I think everyone should check it out. It's a 8 out of 10. Up next, In the Aeroplane Over the Sea. I get the appeal of this album a lot. I like the sound of it. I like the wacky lyrics of it. It's very digestible and cute. That's about it. It's not the kind of, again, it's not the kind of thing I'd really put on while I'm driving or drawing or something. Um, when I hear my friends talk about it, I'm like, yes, I agree. It is really good. It is really cool. But again, it's not really the kind of thing I really love that much. I don't connect with it as much as everyone else does, but I can see the appeal. I can see why they connect with it so much, and I'm glad to have it on vinyl. Thank you very much, Nick, for purchasing it for me. So it's a good album. I like it. Actually, it wasn't Nick that got me that gift. It was Paul. Thank you, Paul. Um, but yeah, it's one of those where I get it. I respect it. I like Neutral Milk Hotel. I'm excited for whatever things. I forget what the name of the musician is. I respect him a lot. But yeah, it's okay. It's a good album. 7 out of 10. Next up, Abbey Road. Um, Possibly the most popular album of all time. Like, you've seen this album cover everywhere. You probably have seen it like once a day and you just don't know it. We have signs out here that have Abbey Road on them. Like like traffic signs. I'm not kidding. Traffic signs that say, "Oh, don't text and drive." Or, and it shows like you could hurt people, and it shows this album cover in the like in the stylized traffic sign way. It's everywhere. This album is everywhere. And every song on it is played everywhere. But I think it's, neat. This is a 6 out of 10 album for me. I think it's hard to complain about it. It's not a perfect, like, I guess it is technically perfect, but it's not really one I connect to really at all. Except for a few moments, of course, like Johnny Silverhand. Like, what the fuck? That's a crazy song. And it's there's a cool little like the atmosphere is. I keep bringing atmosphere, but the atmosphere is fun. It's very 70s, and I imagine it was very influential for a lot of music at the time. But like, you know, King Crimson did their thing around the same time. I think that's a lot more interesting than this. I know that's like the most fucking like rate your music take possible, but yeah. um, eh, eh. I think there's a lot of classics on it. Like Here Comes the Sun. Let's just move on. Next up is Igor or Eeyore by Tyler the Creator. Now this is an album I can't really talk about very much because I've only heard it once and I was at work during it and I didn't fully comprehend all of it. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. I have no rating for it really yet. I've listened to it once. Yeah. I'm not even gonna say like, oh, it's good. I remember it being good. I don't remember anything that was said in it though. So I'm gonna move on to Nevermind by Nirvana. Um, Again, classic. Probably the second most popular album of all time, in my opinion. But behind Abbey Road, the album cover is like I need to stop saying classic is iconic. I'm gonna start saying iconic too much now. Um, Everyone's referenced it. Everyone's brought it up in things. I see it constantly referenced, like for drawing things, if like just for fun. Um, the album is definitely good. It's like very 90s. I like Kurt Cobain a lot. And but I do think that I prefer In Utero a lot more than this one. But this is one that doesn't really grip me the same way as a lot of other albums do. I think it's just because of the vast library of other albums I have more of a passion for or like I connect to more. I'd rather put on like English Riviera by Metronomy or Under the Western Freeway by Grandaddy or hell, The Sophomore Slump by Grandaddy or one that's coming up. I'm not gonna say it yet. That's like I can see it, but you can't see it. Haha. I'd rather listen to those than Nevermind. But I do think it's a good album, and I don't judge anybody for saying they love it or it's their favorite album at all. Because again, it's perfect. And but I'd rather listen to a lot of other things. So 8 out of 10. It's one of those. It's good. Next up is Mad Villainy by Mad Villain, or MF Doom, if you will, or Mad Lib, if you will. I don't know the full story behind how this album was made, but I do prefer Food more than Mad Villainy, but I'll get to that in a bit. I might have to do like separate parts for this video because my voice is dying already, and we're only at number 16. Um, I'll probably stop by 20 and I'll do it in part two uh, in the future. But Mad Villainy is, again, really iconic. And I think about it from time to time just at random. I love the intro on this album a lot. I love the visuals it gives me. And that's something I can say about like all of the like MF Doom music I've heard in my lifetime. It feels like I'm just reading someone's brain. Like it feels like I'm just looking at their interests and how he incorporates all of these unique interests and ideas into this, fun hip hop album is like so endearing to me, so charming and like cool. It's just cool. I love the I've always loved, the way MF Doom presents himself with that mask and like his interest in like Street Fighter and um Marvel comics and uh like all these like niche things, not super niche, but like I just like seeing all that stuff. It reminds me a lot of like how Thundercat incorporates his interests in his music. um and yeah, I'm glad that I see him from time to time, like from the kind of people that don't delve deep into old hip hop. Like I remember seeing a spray paint job at random while I was bike riding of MF Doom's mask, and I just think that's so cool. But this is one that has like so many things in it that I have to listen to it even more than I normally would. And yeah, but outside of that, like it's not the kind of thing I'd really put on all the time. It's one of those things where I have to like sit there like and just like let it flow over me. Um, all the time. I just let it flow. I'm hearing all of these samples. I hear Chun Li falling to the ground. I'm hearing, the accordion part. You know, it's cool, and I like hearing it. It's hard to talk over it with friends too, because it's like just so many moments you have to be like all the time. So great album. For now, I give it a 7 because I actually don't really know how to rate this one. It's a unique experience, for sure. I can imagine giving it a 9 or an 8 later. I don't know about a 10, but 9 or 8 at another time. But for now, it's a 7. Next up, The Velvet Underground and Nico. Now, this is an album cover I constantly see, and it's an Andy Warhol painting, which I think is pretty cool. I like Andy Warhol. I don't know the full story of Andy Warhol, but um, taking it's a whole. I'm having a tangent right now, but Andy Warhol's beautification of the monotony is really interesting to me. Anyway, this album, it had a sound to it that I didn't expect. Um, when I see an album cover like this, I just assume, oh, it's just gonna be, like the sort of Beatles sound, like rock from the 70s, but it's pretty ahead of its time. It's got this like really scrappy, like one of the genres it says on here that you can't, oh no, you can't see it. It says garage rock, and it's like, that is what it is. That is a good way to describe it. It feels like this was made in a garage. It feels like you can feel the sound waves hitting the concrete or the sheet metal. And that's something I think is cool, especially for 67, 1967. Like, what? Wow. And the sort of echoiness a lot in a lot of the tracks. It's one it's really cool, but that's the most I can say about it. Is it's really cool. And again, I've only listened to it once, and I also don't really have any friends that love this album, so they haven't really shown me the light of what makes it so special to them. So I'm just kind of leaving it as, yeah, I like it. So I give it a 7. Now next, I can talk about for a while. When I was mentioning albums I'd rather listen to instead of, you know, Nevermind. Obviously, it's way different style and genre, but Revolver by the Beatles is probably my no, it is. It is my favorite Beatles album by far. It has the most variety. It has one of my favorite album covers from the Beatles. It's got like you know Eleanor Rigby on it. It's got the Yellow Submarine on it. It's got a lot of tracks that I like from like types of tracks from the Beatles that I like because there's a lot of different camps that Beatles songs have. Because there's like the like I Love Me Do or like is that what the song's called? Yeah, this shows how much I know about the Beatles. Like the sort of love songs, that's its own camp, and this one has, and that's it's a camp I don't care for, and this one doesn't have very many of those, luckily. And if it does it with a bit more style and a bit more of an interesting flow to it. Like it starts with Taxman, and I think that's a like a kind of goofy song. Um, it's like it's kind of just got that like really British energy. Um, but it's also kind of like a love song as well in its own in a sense. If is it really? I don't know. It's hard. I haven't thought about the lyrics that hard. But like Eleanor Rigby is like one of the best Beatles songs in my opinion. Super unique and interesting. but also the last song like sounds insane, like with those like synthesizer sounds, which I imagine were pretty new for 66. And the I don't know, like it just takes me to a different world whenever I hear this album. Um, and it's hard to really get into much detail, but you can imagine the sound of the Beatles. It's that and a little bit more, I guess, is my best way of describing it. There's more to it, there's more creativity to it that I really like. So I'd give this a 9. It's a 9. It's one I really like. It's my favorite Beatles album by far, by far. And I happily own it on vinyl. I bought that vinyl from Portland um, for kind of too high of a price, but that's a discussion for another time. Up next is Yeezus by Kanye. Um, this is probably my favorite Kanye album. Um, it's one that many people like to talk shit about, and I don't blame them for that because it's got a really weird sound to it. It's super noisy and just like crazy. You know, it. Some of the songs on it were produced by fuck, what's his name? His name is Guy Manuel de Cristo from Daft Punk. And it shows. It really does show. Especially with what's the titles of the songs? Hold on. It's hard to remember. I just remember songs by like oh, it's the one that goes there. Like On Sight is a great intro. The first 3 songs are like some of the fucking best like Kanye songs ever. Like for sure. Whenever I put this album on in the car, it's hard to not go like whenever I listen to it, especially with the song On Sight. Um, but also, you know, songs like Hold My Liquor go for a really like slower melody. I don't know if I'm using the right words. Blood on the Leaves is like one of the most dark Kanye West songs by far. And then it ends with Bound 2, which again is memed a lot, but for good reason. It's like it's just so iconic and memorable, like that sample of Kim talking, and unfortunately it's aged really poorly. Or aged really well with the songs like I Am a God, but also like the kind of bad bars are sort of a positive in its own way. Like, 300, like the Romans, that lyric is terrible, but again, it kind of makes the song better. And it's in the song where he's talking about like being a god. I don't know, there's something about that like super self-aggrandizing to like being confidently like not that smart. I don't know, there's something about it that makes it work to me. Yeah, I love this album. It's one of those where like if someone says, "Oh, I fucking hate it," I go, "Yeah, yeah, it's fair." But I don't know, there's something the style is so unique. I love the way this one sounds. Um, After that is another Kanye album, The College Dropout. Um, Possibly the most like endearing Kanye album. Um, this album honestly makes me kind of sad listening to it because like, oh man, I remember when Kanye smiled. I remember when he like, he rapped with enthusiasm. I remember when he wasn't super like cynical and gross. I remember when he was like, "Yeah, I got a song for the kids," you know. Yeah, and yeah, this album is like such a perfect storm from 2004, especially rap from 2004. Um, and I can see where like Kanye how Kanye um, established such a unique direction for a lot of rap music. Because, like, yeah, you go from this to, late registration and then, graduation, which has a, like, more colorful energy and style to it with sampling, like, Daft Punk for a rap beat and then yeah, I can see how he really changed the world of music for quite some time. Not anymore, but yeah, like this is super. There's a lot of variety on this album, and but I would rather listen to Late Registration over this. My camera fucked up again, but it's fine. I'll just leave it. Actually, no, I have one more thing to talk about after this, but what was I saying? It's really frustrating. My camera keeps breaking. I should get a new one. But I'd rather listen to, Lit Registration over this. I think that one has all the things College Dropout has and more. Um, but yeah, I like hearing the inception of the character of Kanye in this album. I think the first track on it is a really good intro as to who Kanye is. But also, like, um, I can't remember the titles of songs, man. Like, there's a lot of stand-up moments, such as, hold on. I thought I could remember another one. Through the Wire. That song is crazy. I think it's a crazy song that you should totally read about. Um, because I'm not going to. I think that does it a disservice. You should totally check it out yourself. Um, but also some songs slow it down for sure, like Breathe In, Breathe Out. I think that song honestly just sucks. Um, and but there are some, yeah, like Slow Jams is not a great song, but it's like so perfect for the time it was made. It reeks of the early 2000s, and that's something I kind of like about it. This isn't a seven. It's kind of like a perfect example for a seven. There's some moments that are poor, but some moments that really make it strong, for sure. And yeah, I don't know if I'd own it on vinyl per se, but it's a unique listen that I won't feel disappointed by for checking out again. All right, all right, that's enough for today. Um, I will talk about some more in the future, but I'm also going to bring up a little thing that's pretty relevant to music, real quick. So, one of my favorite bands by far is Shoo Shoo. I think they make really good music. They're very unique music. Not many people really like the style or sound of it, and that's totally understandable. It's really nasty, gross, scrappy, um, crackly. I don't know. A lot of not so nice adjectives, but it's something I think is what makes it really special. Um, the really weird directions they go with music, especially on an album like A Promise. But I'll talk about Shoe Shoe's discography another time. But if you check out their Spotify, you'll notice that either A, I haven't done it in a second, they don't exist, or all of their songs have been removed. And when I noticed this, I was like, "Whoa!" I think that's literally the noise I made when I found that out. It was I was in a Discord call, and I was like, "What the fuck just happened? Like, all of their albums are gone. Their singles are there, but not and like three of their albums that were there, but what happened? Like, and this has happened with a lot of songs before that I've listened to because maybe it had a sample in it that got caught by copyright, which is bullshit. I hate that. Hate it so much. Or they decided, hey, let's make it CD only. Or hey, this estate says you have to pull this one, which is what happened to Janelle Monáe with her Prince collab, which is stupid. I don't. It makes me mad. Or hey, this album cover has something offensive in it, even when it's criticizing it. I think that happened with JPEG Mafia, which is bullshit. Um, and I just assumed that, but then I looked it up because sometimes I'll look it up and see what's going on, and usually they'll say like, "Oh, we got hacked," or "Oh, just some nonsense happened." But no, what I saw instead was Shoo Shoo is purposefully removing their music from Spotify. And I thought, why? And it turns out, I'll put a link to a article below where I found this out. Um, again, this is mostly from articles. I didn't do any deep research. I didn't find this out from its source. But the CEO of Spotify, I'm pretty sure, um, donated a huge sum of money to the researching or perfection of AI powered war drones from a specific company. I forget the name of it. And like, oh my God, where the hell did this come from? Like, oh my Jesus. And for someone like a band like Shushu, who is super, 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 super um critical of war, of smaller like countries being destroyed, of like military behavior, of like high school jock becoming a soldier type behavior. Yeah, I totally understand why they would not want their music on a platform like that, where the CEO just does that. Um, and it wasn't actually Shushu's main idea of doing it. It was Deerhoof's idea. Um, they decided to do it, and I haven't listened to much Deerhoof, but that's an artist I've always wanted to get into. And Jamie Stewart from Shushu has worked very closely with Deerhoof on a couple of projects, and yeah, they were like, yeah, good idea. Let's get the hell out of here. And now King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, which is a pretty popular indie band, um, has decided to take the stuff off Spotify as well. And all I can think now with that is not just disappointment that some of my some artists I'm really interested in are leaving. It's more about, yeah, this is this is good. I think this is genuinely a good thing to take this stuff to like just the best way of protesting you can. Um, because it's not like Spotify is giving them much money anyway. It's fucking Spotify. They give you like barely any revenue for the streams you're doing. And I am leaving with them. I'm moving on to YouTube Music instead. I don't know how different politically YouTube Music will be, but I'd much prefer to just move away from Spotify anyway, because I've always had problems with it regarding what I was saying earlier. It was just songs being removed or accounts I like being hacked and putting on a fucking shitty single on with AI generated art. I'm sick of that shit. I'm sick of seeing that, and I'm happy to move to a different streaming service. So yeah, I'm moving on to YouTube Music. I already had like the subscription going for it anyway, so I might as well use it, right? Um, Already there's some problems I have with it, such as autoplay. I wish I could just turn it off permanently. It's kind of random if it wants to turn on or not. I also have problems with, I wish there were, the thing is I haven't discovered everything on it yet, but it doesn't look like there's playlist folders, which is annoying, but it's only in browser form. I prefer, it being a program, especially since you could like control C, not control C. You can undo actions on Spotify, which I liked. I don't know if YouTube Music has that. But yeah, I'm still getting used to it. Um, it doesn't display the songs correctly on my in my car, which is kind of, I don't know. It's a little thing that bothers the hell out of me. But yeah, it's pretty. This video is all over the place in terms of what I'm talking about, and we're recording for a whole hour, and the camera has broken so many times. I think it's time for me to get a new one. Um, I mean, I already needed to get a new one for quite some time anyway. What I'm doing with Spotify, I should just get rid of this thing like I did with Spotify. Um, so yeah, I will see you all tomorrow, and thank you for dealing with my nonsense of uploading so randomly. Bye bye.